Maggie just walked into a situation where she can never take back what happens next. Because whether you call it peace or danger, this episode changes the balance of her life forever. And the hardest question isn't whether she survives the event itself, it is whether the choice she makes after comes with a price too high to pay. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Breakdown Epic. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Now, in my opinion, Episode 8 of Sullivan's Crossing may be the chapter where the entire season shifts from quiet drama to irreversible decision-making. You have three people who cannot stop moving toward each other, yet they are all trying to run away from their own truths. And right now, the only person standing in the center of all of it is Maggie. That is why I'm calling this episode Maggie's Choice. Not because there's an obvious crossroads where she has two signs pointing left and right, but because every single thing she does next either heals her or destroys her. And this trailer makes it painfully clear that something dangerous is waiting for them. So let me tell you exactly what is happening before I show you the theories on where this leads.
Because honestly, this feels heavier than any other episode so far. Maggie has been carrying pressure from Cal, pressure from Liam, pressure from her job, pressure from herself for weeks. And suddenly, she gets a moment of escape. She leaves with Liam. A chance to breathe, to relax, to pretend she is not drowning. For the first time, she looks different, less guarded, less exhausted. But this is Sullivan's Crossing, and the second someone tries to heal, the town finds a way to reopen the wound. The trailer strongly suggests their day trip does not stay peaceful. Something goes wrong, something unexpected happens, something that puts them both in a position where they are forced to react instead of talk. And when people are forced to react, their true selves come out. In my opinion, this is where the biggest change happens. Not during the calm moments before, not during the planning phase, but during the emergency. Because when you are scared, you do not act like yourself. You act like what you really believe is important. And I think this episode is going to show us exactly what Maggie believes matters most.
Does she trust Liam enough to let him save her? Or does she run back to Cal knowing he might not save her, but he will understand her better? Those are the questions I want you to ask yourself while watching this. Because if Maggie chooses Liam in that dangerous moment, it does not mean they fall in love instantly. It means she trusts Liam's instinct over everyone else's advice. It means she realizes she needs someone outside the town to help her survive. That could push Cal into a place where he realizes silence is no longer protection. He can protect himself, but he cannot protect anyone if he stays quiet. But if she runs back to Cal when things get bad, then she confirms that her life still belongs inside the safety of familiar pain. And that would hurt Liam more than any rejection, because it tells him he is not the escape route she needs. Now let me move into the part where we analyze the consequences of her choice. Because the trailer hints that this event could be one of those turning points that defines the final stretch of the season. If Maggie ends up closer to Liam emotionally after surviving this danger together, then Cal becomes the outsider again, not physically, emotionally. And that shift is exactly what drives drama in this show.
If Maggie ends up choosing Cal, then Liam walks away realizing he cannot force her hand. That pushes Liam to stop trying to rescue her and start letting her make her own choices. That is growth for Liam, and that is growth for Maggie, even if it hurts. But here is my strongest theory about the ending of this episode. The danger that teases them is not just external, it is internal. The situation that throws them off balance is the kind that forces them to admit things they cannot say aloud, like fear, like longing, like regret. And once those words leave your mouth, the game changes forever. So I think what we are seeing is not just an outdoor adventure gone wrong. We are seeing Maggie finally forced to answer the question she has been avoiding all season. Is she staying because she loves the person beside her? Or is she staying because it is easier than facing the truth alone? And that is why the title of the episode matters. It's called We Can Work It Out,
But in my opinion, that title sounds hopeful because the writers know how much we want it to be. But in reality, sometimes working something out requires breaking it apart first. Now, let's talk about Cal.
Because I do not think he loses anything dramatic this episode. I think he loses something worse. Possibility. If Maggie steps away from him permanently, he does not fight her. He does not explode. He simply accepts it. And that acceptance cuts deeper than screaming ever could. That is why I find Cal the most tragic figure in this setup. He knows he is losing the battle, but he is losing it quietly. And in a show like this, silent heartbreak often turns into the biggest emotional climax of the finale. Meanwhile, Maggie's journey looks like it is heading toward clarity. She starts confused, stressed, and unsure. By the end of the episode, she might feel safer, but she might also feel more alone, because she realizes the stress did not come from others, it came from her own refusal to decide. Now, let me give you the final prediction before I finish. I think this episode sets up the final direction of the season by deciding who stands next to her. If Liam stands beside her, then she leaves Cal behind forever. If Cal stands beside her, then she keeps holding on to the past. And either choice changes everything about how the finale plays out. This is why I think the emotional stakes are higher than usual.
Because if you lose someone you love, it is easy to forget the details. But if you lose the version of yourself you used to be, that sticks with you forever. And I think episode 9 will reveal what version of Maggie survives this crisis. So if you ask me what is going to happen, I believe the danger pushes Maggie closer to Liam emotionally, but it makes her realize she needs to face Cal eventually. And that confrontation might be the key to unlocking whatever is broken inside her. But anyway, that is my breakdown of Sullivan's Crossing Season 4, Episode 8, and why Maggie's choice is the real story of this chapter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Maggie chooses peace with Liam or stability with Cal? I will catch you in the next one.